All right, stick with me on this one for a minute, guys, because I have a plan.
Hey, go check out the rest of Hawk's video there. But he's talking about we have some special elections coming up that I don't I'm ashamed I forgot about them because I've had people in my lives and over the last week I don't know how many times people have asked what can we do, what can we do, and I completely forgot that we have these special elections coming up. On April 1st, Florida is going to have special elections for their first and their sixth congressional district. The first congressional district covers the western panhandle of Florida, which includes Pensacola, and the sixth includes the areas of Silver Spring Shores, the Villages, St. Augustine, Daytona, and DeLand, amongst others. The reason these special elections are so important is Republicans should have a 220 to 215 majority in the House of Representatives. But in his infinite wisdom, because he's so smart, he knows everything, Trump has decided to take 3 Republican congresspeople out of their seats and put them in his administration, leaving their seats open. And now on April 1st, the people of those areas which I mentioned get to vote for new representation. The 220-215 majority is now down to 217 to 215. Republicans currently cannot lose a single vote because there are no tiebreakers in the House, unlike the Senate. If Democrats can take those 2 seats and we can make it a 217 to 217 tie, none of Trump's agendas get to go through. None of them. And why it's important to know that it's in these particular areas in Florida on April 1st, because Republicans have talked about coming after Medicare. Republicans have talked about coming after Social Security. They tried to make cuts to Medicaid. In these areas of Florida where you have a lot of elderly people living and you are attacking Social Security and Medicare, they might have a say about that. So if Democrats can take those 2 seats, 217, the Trump agenda stops. And that happens on April 1st, less than 2 months from now. Then, which still hasn't been put on the calendar yet, New York has to have a special election. The New York 21st, which covers the northeast portion of the state, they have to have a special election because Trump pulled their congressperson out and put them in his administration. Again, that has not been set yet. But if Democrats can take that, now Democrats have a 218, 217 majority. We get a new Speaker of the House who gets to determine what comes to the floor and what doesn't. And the Trump agenda is dead in the water. This is what we can do. The people of the Florida 1st and 6th, people who live in those areas. And if you don't share it to people you might know, put it all over. Just blast this all over TikTok. On April 1st is a special election. In order to vote in that special election, you have to be registered to vote by March 3rd. If you vote absentee, you need to request your absentee ballot by March 20th at 5 p.m. You have to return your absentee ballot by April 1st by 7 p.m., so on Election Day. And then early voting for those Florida special elections will be March 22nd through March 29th. This is what we can do. We can end it now. And in New York, whenever they get their election on the schedule, we can do it there. In New York, so I told you why Florida, attacking Social Security, things that the elderly population in Florida might not like you touching. New York has one of, if not the largest per capita teacher voting blocks. It is a state that is flooded with educators. It is a state that if you are not an educator, you probably know one. And what did Trump try to do last week? He tried to cut Title I funding for schools. He tried to cut free and reduced lunch. He tried to cut Pell Grants. He tried to cut financial aid, FAFSA. He tried to make cuts to all of these things that will impact teachers. And the most important, he wants to try to eliminate the Department of Education. So the 3 Congress people, Donnie, that you took, that you now have to replace, you are attacking that voting base. You're not helping that voting base. You are attacking them. And I don't think that's going to work out too well for you. So, again, if you know anyone in the Florida 1st or 6th, let them know. They have a special election coming up on April 1st. They need to register because special election turnout is always abysmal. It is ridiculously low. We need to get the party and the voting bloc energized. We need to get people out to the polls. We need to get people out there to say enough is enough, and we are not going to let this go down for the next 2 years until the midterms. Because in the midterms, we can change everything. Please get this information out there. Please help save this country from what is attempting to be done to it. But until then, we need to stay vigilant. We need to push. We need to question. We need to fight back. We need to protest. We need to address our government of our concerns. Let's do this. And it starts now.